How's it going, guys? We've had UFC 305 wrap up, we've had fight announcements, and I just want to take this time to go over the things that I'm most excited about in each division of the UFC. I'm going to start off with the Flyweight division. Unfortunately, there's not a lot I'm very excited about in the Flyweight division. So I'm going to use this time to talk about what are we going to do about Alexander Pantoja. How are we going to get him out of the division? How are we going to get him to be beat? How are we going to get him to stay active? And spoiler alert, he's not going to be beat most likely in the Flyweight division. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation. I think our best bet is to keep him active, get him a bunch of wins. He's already lapping this division, and move him up to Bantamweight. There's pretty good matchups up there. We could have him versus O'Malley. We could have him versus Merab. So yeah, at Flyweight, there's not much for him. He has an insane resume over the top 10 currently at Flyweight. He's got 3 wins over Moreno. He's got 2 wins over Royval. He has a win over Kai Kara France, even though it was on the Ultimate Fighter, Ultimate Fighter, I think. I forget what season. He has a win over Manel Cap. He has a win over Steve Erceg, but Steve Erceg just got knocked the fuck out, so it's not like he's fighting anytime soon. And the only matchups for him in the top 5 that he hasn't fought yet are Amir Albazi and Tatsuro Taira. And Amir Albazi doesn't deserve a title shot. He has one. Him and Tatsuro Taira both only have 1 win, I'm pretty sure, in the entire top 15. And Amir Albazi's win is a robbery decision over Kai Kara France. So what I propose is we keep Pantoja active. Even if he doesn't deserve it, we give Kai Kara France the title shot. I would say he arguably beat Albazi, and he just had a spectacular knockout over Steve Erceg, who many people think just beat Pantoja in his last fight. So we give him the title shot. Let's give it to Kai Kara France, and then let's match up the rest of the division, at least the top 5. I say we give Royval Tatsuro Taira. I think Taira's more interesting than Albazi as a prospect for me. So let's give him to Royval. Let's see if he can get the win, get the next title shot versus Pantoja, and then we can do Moreno versus Albazi. I think that fight was scheduled at one point anyway and got canceled, so rebook it, whatever. Let's just get Pantoja out of there and see some new matchups for him at Bantamweight. Moving on to Bantamweight, obviously the biggest story here is we got UFC 306 Noche at the Sphere. Honestly, I'm very excited for this. We have Sean O'Malley versus Merab. And I think Sean O'Malley is going to knock out Merab in the first or second round. And even if it's not in the first or second round, he has pretty good cardio, and 5 rounds is a really long time to spend in the cage with a sniper like O'Malley, who has that power, who has that timing. And Merab doesn't have any finishing ability. He's not getting O'Malley out of there. He has to stay in there with him for all 5 rounds. So good luck to him. I don't think he's going to get it. And now Merab has that cut on his eye, which I don't think will play a big factor in the fight. But why post about that? It's just another thing for a sniper like O'Malley to, target. It's pretty stupid, but it's not like Merab's known for being particularly intelligent, so what do we expect? And moving on to Featherweight, we have my boy Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria. This is a rough one for me because I'm a huge Max Holloway fan. I'm a really, really big Max Holloway fan. So everything in me doesn't want to pick him because I'm so scared of jinxing it. And I'm so scared of him getting flatline KO'd by Ilia Topuria. But despite me not wanting to jinx it, I have to go with my head here, and I actually think Max Holloway is going to beat Ilia Topuria. I don't know how yet. I have to think on it a little more. But despite what Lucas Tracy says, I do think the body is there for Max Holloway. I think he can land the spinning kicks to the body. I think his kicks will actually be a really big weapon in keeping the distance, staying out of boxing range. And he even landed good head kicks on Calvin Kattar, who's also like a boxing heavy style. Although I really should not compare him to Ilia Topuria at all. I don't know why I just did. But either way, I think the kicks will still be big for Max. And Max has been so sharp in that fight against Gaethje. Like, he was so wide-eyed. And people say it's the shots that you don't see that hurt you. And that's the thing about Max. Those wide eyes, he sees everything. I think that's why his chin's so good. So, yeah, I'm going with Max on that. That's what's exciting to me at Featherweight right now. Lightweight, let's go! Dan Hooker title run, baby! This is what motivated me to make this video in the first place. The Dan Hooker title run is real. And people have been sleeping on Dan Hooker. I've been sleeping on Dan Hooker. After the Arnold Allen fight, I think a lot of us thought Dan Hooker was washed because he looked so bad and he got finished so fast. But that was at 145. I feel like we can't even hold that against him. And I feel like that's a trend with a lot of Dan Hooker's losses. I feel like we're just looking at his resume as a bunch of losses. We're not looking at the context behind them. Because if we look at his past, 10 fights before this one.
So he beat James Vick. Then he beat Ali Quinta. Then he beat Paul Felder. Then I believe he lost to Dustin Poirier, which we all know is a very respectable loss. He looked really good in that fight. He almost got Dustin out there in the second round. He won 2 out of the 3. He lost the fight. Whatever. That's a stock-raising performance in my book. Then was the Michael Chandler loss, and I can't hold it against him. No one was beating Chandler that night. It was in the script. Chandler had all the aura in the world. Dan didn't look like himself. Anyone was getting knocked out in the cage with Michael Chandler that night. Forget about it. Then...
What does he do next? Does he beat Nasrat I think, let me take a look.
At the record. I'll edit this out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he beats Nasrat Haqparast, who right now is actually doing pretty good, I think. I think he's on like a 4-fight win streak. And then Dan goes to lose against Islam Makhachev. All right, that's Makhachev. And it was on short notice for Dan, I'm pretty sure. Like 3 weeks or something. Then the Arnold Allen loss I was just talking about. Then, oh yeah, he got that leg kick TKO. Then he beat Jalen Turner. And then he beat...
Gamrot. 2 up-and-coming top contenders. Gamrot's not even up-and-coming. He's been at the top of the division. So Dan Hooker's the real deal. And now he got a bunch of really exciting, really big matchups for him. He can fight Justin Gaethje. He can fight Charles Oliveira. If Max loses in a non-devastating fashion, Max can go up to lightweight and he can have a BMS fight against Dan Hooker. And I would watch that fight. Honestly, I'm so high on Dan Hooker right now. I'd watch the hell out of that fight. So if I had to pick, the Gaethje fight seems really fun. And I think a Dan Hooker has a good chance of beating him and Oliveira because Dan's so underrated. Every weapon he has in the striking is dangerous. The elbow's dangerous. The knee's dangerous. The punch is dangerous. He's just dangerous. So the title run is happening. Moving on to welterweight. Wow, why can't I remember anything about welterweight? Right. Bilal. It's just Bilal. He's the champion. Let's give him some time to sit and like chill out with his win. I don't think anyone's ready for a title shot against Bilal right now. I think we need to do JDM versus Shavkat. Everyone knows that. I don't need to talk about it a ton. I don't care what we do with Ian Gary. Make them 2 fight. Ian Gary can fight the winner of Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. And I think it might actually be Thompson. So him versus Ian Gary could be a cool fight. But Buckley's a cool fight too. Moving on to middleweight. 305. Dricus is unstoppable. I think only Strickland really has a good chance of beating him. And I don't want to see Strickland fight him. And I don't even think Strickland really deserves it. They had a close fight, but I'm sick of Strickland. I'm sick of all the trash talk and then the boring-ass performance against Costa. I don't know. I really do think Whittaker deserves it. And this might not be a base take saying Strickland doesn't deserve it, but I'm a huge Whittaker fan. So I would love for Whittaker to get this win, but I don't think Whittaker getting a title shot is really that fun or exciting. So I think it's better for the division if Khamzat gets the win over Whittaker, and then Khamzat versus DDP, like, that's a banger of a fight. So in my ideal fun situation for the division, I say we kick out Strickland. Hopefully Khamzat beats Whittaker, and we get Khamzat versus DDP, because that's a wild wrestling, grappling, punching slugfest. I'm excited to see it. What do we got next? Okay, yeah, next we have light heavyweight. I'm not that excited here. I don't even know what to say. We all know Roundtree versus Pereira is a ridiculous fight, and I don't know why Rakic and Magomed are fighting. Just switch them. Just give Roundtree to Rakic and make Ankalaev fight Alex Pereira. Just do that. I don't know why that's not happening. The only good thing that comes out of this is we keep boosting Pereira's win streak and we make the fight against Aspinall after Jones retires even bigger. And speaking of heavyweight, once again, I don't think I'm going to say anything that Guru isn't saying better right now, so check out his most recent video. I think he just made a video going over some Tom Aspinall video, talking about John Jones, whatever. No one wants to see John Jones versus Stipe. I don't want to see that fight. Is that fight even going to happen? If Stipe pulls out, then we can have Aspinall coming in as a replacement short notice, because Stipe is so old. That's actually a real possibility. But I don't know. I'm just coping right now. I don't want to see the fight versus Jones and Stipe. And then Jones is going to retire and whatever. I'm done talking about heavyweight. Aspinall is the fucking champ. And all I care about is seeing him fight Jones right now. So, yeah. Moving on to the women's. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening to me yap. Please like, share, subscribe. Tune into the next one. Leave a comment if you think anything I say is super stupid. And hopefully I'll be putting out some more videos soon. Hopefully with the boys next time, Luke and Gabe. And please come see us stream Fight Companion for UFC Noche. Peace.